Welcome back. In this section, we'll talk about categorization of product requirements. I'm adopting the McKinsey three horizon model for categorizing product requirements. The three categories that I have defined are tactical, strategic, and disruptive. They are designed to reflect what is required in the short term, around 6 to 12 months, to run the business, what is required in the near long term, around 1 to 2 years, to grow the business, and finally, what is required in the long term, around 3 to 5 years, to transform the business. While the first two categories are specifically focused on the current product, the third category is predominantly focused on identifying the new opportunities by anticipating market shifts. S-curve can provide additional clarity on strategic and disruptor requirements. Strategic requirements focus on growth, eliminating uncertainties surrounding existing technology, while disruptive focus on transition to next generation technology. How do we categorize features in our product backlog under those three buckets? Tactical requirements focus on existing business challenges. There is utmost clarity on what does customer need and why they need. Tactical requirements ensure a steady flow of revenues. It keeps the business running. Strategic requirements focus on product growth in near long term by identifying emerging opportunities or delivering differential outcomes embracing technology advancements. Strategic requirements sound more like I have an idea of what customers need, but not sure how they like the need to be addressed. Rightly so, there is some clarity on the customer need, while unknowns or assumptions must be validated through hypothesis. The primary role of strategic requirements is to capture growth and extend the lifetime of the product. One likely example of a strategic requirement is adding the augmented reality to an e-commerce site. We always have such abundance of ideas, and the focus of strategic requirement is to identify which among those ideas can put the product on a growth trajectory. Disruptive requirements anticipate market shifts and identify opportunities with potential to disrupt the market. Disruptive requirements validate the next big idea and therefore has little clarity on what could be the next big idea, what could it provide, what value does it provide to customers, and how it could transform the market. In an earlier section, while talking about identifying needs, I have elaborated about two types of gathering needs: understanding needs and discovering needs. If I had to connect the dots between various types of gathering needs and category of requirements, understanding needs mostly fall under the tactical category, as understanding needs focus on existing customer business challenges. Under discovery of needs, I have elaborated about customer needs and market needs. Customer needs focus on evolving business challenges, and the needs gathered through knowing your customers better fall under the strategic category. While the focus on market needs will help us identify the next shift in the market and hence fall under the disruptor category. The fitment that I have just established works in most cases. Nevertheless, there could be certain exceptions too. Some of the needs identified through knowing the market better can be strategic in nature too. The general rule of the thumb that I follow for splitting the roadmap across the three categories is 70, 20, and 10. 70% of your product roadmap should be filled with tactical items, 20% with strategic items, and 10% with disruptor items. Nevertheless, this is not a hard and fast rule. The ratio will further depend upon the positioning of the current product in the adoption life cycle. When the product is introduced to the market, it does not make sense to identify strategic or disruptor requirements. The entire focus in the early months or early weeks of introducing the product is to determine the product market fit by identifying existing business challenges. Customers buy a product for its ability to address their current needs and not just for the vision of the product to address future needs of the target segment. After identifying the product market fit, focus shift towards identifying evolving business challenges to put the product on the growth trajectory. After the product hits the growth mode, it is ideal to start focusing on the next big idea that can transform the market. Otherwise, the product will eventually lose its sheen and fade away from the market. Next big idea, in most cases, is an opportunity to build the next generation product. Once we have identified the next big idea and validated with target customers, the focus is to realign resources to the new product. Every organization has a finite resource, and it is essential to focus only on the tactical items on the older product for reallocating investments to the newer product. Along with realigning investments to the newer product manager must strategize to shift customers to the newer product and slowly focus on hardening the older product. The evolution of Gillette product line is an excellent example of strategic requirements. Gillette expanded the product line by adding more blades and slew of additional features. Transition of Netflix from a rental company to a streaming company is an example of disruptor. See you soon to talk about the inflection point. Thank you. See you soon.